Before we get into our discussion on organizational units in SAP FI, let's first understand what is SAP FI. FI is Financial Accounting Application Component in SAP. We all know that every business establishment is a legal entity and therefore is bound by law. All business transactions are recorded and must be kept ready for audit trial. Also, the financial statements are to be prepared and published so as to satisfy all the stakeholders. Now, this task is done by the Financial Accounting module in SAP. And in short, we call it as FI module. We all know that any business house comprises of not just FI module, you would also
Hello,
have the logistics, the
is
HR
Ganesh.
as well.
Yeah,
In SAP, data
Regularly
flows
Jan
between
available.
financial
We
accounting
mail
and
killing
all the other
collaboration.
components of the SAP system through
SAP
automatic
have for
updates.
regular.
Postings made in the subledgers in FI always generate a corresponding posting in the general ledger. Thereby, data is available in real time within financial accounting. This enables preparation of reports that helps the management in their decision making. FI module consists of the following subcomponents. General ledger, which is also called as a main ledger, and the other subcomponents, accounts payable, accounts receivable, bank accounting, asset accounting, and so on. These are called as the subcomponents, submodules, or subledgers in FI. I was telling you in one of the earlier slides that data flows across all the modules and is available in FI in real time. This is possible because of real-time integration of financial accounting with other components. This is enabled by means of automatic account determination. Automatic account determination is an elaborate settings which we have to make so that integration among all the components happens and data flows in real time. We just saw a brief introduction of FI module. Now let's understand the organizational structure of SAP FI. In a conventional sense, organizational structure is a formal line of command. It is systematically arranged in the order of authority, relationship, the position, duties, responsibilities, and so on. Just like the conventional organizational structure, in a business, the structure is made of organizational units in SAP. We already have seen that FI module is responsible for recording the financial transactions and reporting to the stakeholders. The organizational units in SAP FI are specifically geared up towards meeting these business functions while taking care of the legal regulations. Therefore, creating at least one organizational unit is mandatory in SAP FI. Now here is a list of organizational units in FI. Client, company, company code, business area, segment. A client is defined as a self-contained commercial, organizational, and technical unit within SAP system. This means all business data within a client is protected from other clients. Each client has its own customer data, which can be considered as the exclusive property of this client. The client is the highest level in the SAP system hierarchy. Specifications that you make or data that you enter at the client level are available for all company codes and all other organizational units. This ensures data is consistent across the system. So when you're storing data that is common to all the organizational units, The benefit is that data is entered only once, thereby eliminating any duplication and saving your storage space. The definition of client organizational unit is obligatory. That is, it is mandatory that you define client. So why is it called highest in the system hierarchy? Because first thing you have to do in implementing SAP is create a client. You have to create a client, log into the client, and then start doing the other configuration and creating the other organizational units and the relevant data. That is why client is called the highest level in SAP system hierarchy. Now next in the hierarchy is company. Company is an organizational unit in SAP FI for which a financial statement can be created. Now why I say can be created is, if there is only one company that you will be needing for your business requirement, then the company is also defined as a company code and the financial statements are created at the company code level. Now what is company code we will see in the next slide. However, when you have more than one company code for that business, then you need a company defined and all the company codes are to be assigned to that company. So if you are having only the business requirement is only to have one company code defined, then you need not have to define a company. That is why definition of company organizational unit is said to be optional. However, as I just said, if you have more than one company code for your business and you want to take a consolidated financial statement across all the lines of business for your company, then you have to define a company and assign all the company codes to that company. Only then you will be able to take a consolidated financial statement. We already saw financial accounting is an important module of SAP. It is used to record financial transactions and is responsible for external reporting. Thereby, SAP FI helps to analyze the financial conditions of a company in the market. It is integrated with other SAP modules like sales and distribution, plant and maintenance, material management, and so on. And also with its own sub-modules like GL, AP, AR, asset accounting, and so on. Now, which is that important organizational unit in SAP FI that performs all these important tasks and takes care of legal requirements of a company? Well, this organizational unit in SAP FI is called company code. The company code is a central organizational unit of external accounting within the SAP system. Now, what is meant by external accounting?
Hello.
Of course, we record all the transactions internally in our books of records in the company code. However, these books of records are to be maintained and reported as financial statements as per the legal requirements of the law of the country in which the business is running. So it is the responsibility of the company code to take care of the legal requirements as per the country law and maintain its books of accounts and publish it externally. That is why it's called external. It is the company codes accounting is called external accounting. Now you must have defined at least one company code before implementing the financial accounting component. It is mandatory to have at least one company code defined in financial accounting. So the business transactions relevant for the financial accounting are entered, saved, and evaluated at company code level. So company code is very important organizational unit in SAP FI as well as the whole across all the modules, because see in this slide you can view that so many organizational units and the basic settings because of which SAP functions are assigned to a company code. You can see how the ST module is assigned, how the MM module is assigned, and how all the basic settings are assigned. It is, this slide is not showing you the entire picture. In fact, the slide is I can't bring all that in one slide, so I have just put some important logistics module and the basic settings I'm showing here that are assigned to the company code. In SAP environment, there are so many other modules with so many other organizational units. All of them are to be assigned to a company code. So that way, the data flows from other organizational units to company code, because company code is the place where all the transactions having financial impact are recorded and reported for external accounting. In accounting, business areas allows balance sheet items such as accounts receivables or fixed assets to be assigned to a particular operational component. Examples of business areas include product lines, subsidiaries, and branch offices. So in SAP, business area is an organizational unit of external accounting that corresponds to a specific business segment or area of responsibility in a company. Financial statements can be created for business areas for internal purposes. And the definition of business area as an organizational unit is optional. It is purely for the business to decide if they have to work with business areas. Under generally accepted accounting principles, an operating segment engages in business activities from which it may earn revenue and incur expenses, and whose results are regularly reviewed by the entity's chief operating decision makers for performance assessment and resource allocation decisions. Segment reporting is a reporting of the operating segments of a company in the disclosures accompanying its financial statements. Segment reporting is required for publicly held entities and is not required for privately held ones. Segment reporting is intended to give information to investors and creditors regarding the financial results and position of the most important operating units of a company, which they can use as a basis for decisions related to the company. You can define segments in your SAP system for this purpose. The segment is defined as a sub-area of a company with activities that generate expenses and revenues. Segments has an operating result that is regularly used by management for profit assessment and resource allocation purposes, and for which separate financial data is available. The accounting principles US GAAP and IFRS require companies to perform segment reporting. If the company code has adopted IFRS accounting principle, then definition of segment is obligatory. That is, it is mandatory to have defined segment and do segment reporting.